Hi, everyone. It's Allison Bird, your Profit Accelerator. What's up? Oh, my God. We are going to have one of the most extraordinary sessions today. Now, let me say this. I hope you've got your pen. I hope you've got your paper. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Sharpie love, right? So I hope you got your pen, your paper. I hope you're ready to go. We've got a lot of curriculum that we're going to cover today in a very short window of time. But let me just say this to you right now as we're about to get started. Your world is about to be rocked. Your life is about to be transformed. And you may go, Allison, how can you say that? Like, how do you know? You don't know what I'm facing. You don't know what I'm going through. What I know, like I know, is that when you step into the opportunity to expand your success, and you step into a space of an unapologetic giant, you have no choice but to expand. See, leadership is not who you are, but it's who others become when they're around you. And so what I know is that you are around me. And so you get an opportunity to expand, to grow, to rise, to become, and to accept another layer of your greatness and of your extraordinary reflection to the world. So let's just jump in and let's play full out and let's take a look. All right. So hopefully you guys can see my presentation right here. You guys can see this, right? All right. Let me just jump back over here and make sure you guys can see. Yep. All right. Let me present it to everyone. Okay, perfect. So it says I'm screen sharing and presenting to all of you. So if you are watching this, you have already downloaded my 21 ways to boss up as the spokesperson of your brand. So when you signed up and you said, hey, I'm going to jump on and I'm going to do this training with you, Allison, here is what we sent to you was 21 ways to boss up as the spokesperson of your brand when you're just starting out. So today we're going to go through a couple of things that I left out of the guide that can help you expand even more. Okay. So number one, if you've never met me before, you may be wondering, Allison, can you really make a difference for me? Well, let me tell you, I believe in giving you the 411 of the 411 of what I've done for others, not just my own personal success. So if you want to know about all the success that I've created for my own life, you know, from starting a business on ambition and air, building a $500,000 brand in under 18 months, creating a multi-million-dollar sales agency, all the ways that we've grown, please feel free to go to my site at AllisonBird.com and read all the historical context about me. However, if I were you, I would want to know, what have you done for others? And what I've done for others is coach my clients to win contracts with Fortune companies that include Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, Delta, Chick-fil-A, UPS, Walt Disney, Target, Mercedes-Benz, Wells Fargo, just to name a few. So if you're a leader and you're looking at how do I expand in my consultancy, how do I expand in my coaching practice? How do I expand on my speaking platform? How do I expand as the owner of my brick and mortar business? How do I build a more successful network marketing team? You're in the how do I? Well, I believe that I have a big opportunity to show you a few things just by what I've shown others and led them to over the last few years, actually the last 11 years to be exact. So who do I serve and who do I work with? I serve the incredible, the brave, the extraordinary, the world-class, and the unapologetic. And for those of you who don't know that's you yet, that's okay, because you may be in the discovery of your bigness. And so when you're in the discovery of it, when you're trying to figure it out, you need to get around someone who calls upon the vastness of who you are and says, wake up, it's time for you to do more, be more, and create more. So what I do is I inspire leaders to become a bigger and grander version of themselves. In the last 2 years, we've helped over 485 entrepreneurial leaders generate $16.9 million in new revenue. Our clients have been featured on Black Enterprise, Wall Street Journal, Bravo, CNN, VH1, Good Morning America, The OWN Network, Huffington Post, just to name a few. So are you getting the gist that if you're someone who is on the rise, you're someone who's in the rise, you're someone that's in superstardom, wherever you are, we've got a solution and we get to meet you exactly where you are to help you touch, move, and inspire the world in a bigger capacity through bigger and greater entrepreneurial education. So who's on with us and why are you here? Well, let's talk about that. You could be an author, a speaker, a coach. You could be a sales expert, a hairstylist that has created a brand new product. You could be a spa owner, an attorney, a copywriter looking for greater visibility. You could be a business consultant looking for more clients, a nutritionist, a health coach, a financial service professional, event planner, an image consultant. You could be a retailer that owns a brick and mortar and you need more traffic coming in through your door. This type of presentation is exactly the thing that will help you create something that you currently don't have in your business to give you greater visibility, influence, impact, which all leads to what? Bigger profits. So the number one reason that people show up in my world and in my space is that they understand that through whatever breakdown they're having, whether they're in superstardom or struggle, startup for their business, they're leaving money on the table, and it's unimaginable sums of money. And I'm going to give you an example in just a second. And so here's what happens. You're aware that the money is on the table, but you aren't clear on the step-by-step process to make it easy. And so if you're realizing that and you go, oh, you know, type in the chat, oh my God, I get it. Yes, that's me, Allison, 1000%, if you can relate to that. Another reason that you might be on is because you get that you're lacking influence. Influence is how you fill your rooms for live events. Influence is how you fill your programs. Influence is how you walk into a conversation with a buyer and you say, hey, Macy's, you know, hey, Kroger stores or Publix stores, or hey, Kraft or Procter & Gamble, you need my product, you need my solution. Influence is how you go on a reality show like a Shark Tank or a Thunderdome or something like that, and you say, give me money so that I can take my product to the masses. You get it? So if you're lacking influence, influence over self, influence over your thoughts, influence over your past, influence over your present, influence over your future, influence over your reality, influence to, with, and around others, influence to draw and connect the right people at the right time, doing the right thing to produce the right results for your life so that you can become the man, the woman you know you were destined and born to be. You are here because you go, holy shit, I'm lacking influence, right? So don't forgive the French. You need a holy shit moment. You need a what the blankety blank 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 so that you can wake up and so that you can trust yourself to really bring bigger to the market. And here's another reason why you might be here. What you think, how you think, why you think, and when you think about money, it has to be unlearned, relearned, and it has to adapt to a new understanding with new behaviors, and you may not know how. So what that looks like is I'm going to teach you a process, a system, a methodology, a way that you can make more money and that you can be greater. And it's going to challenge you, and you're going to have to unlearn and unpack some things just so you can give yourself permission to learn the newness in which I'm sharing. See, you've got a burning in your belly that's been on brew for far too long, and you're ready for the fire. You're actually begging for the heat. You're inciting a firestorm in your soul because this time, you know, I can't just watch another webinar. I can't just attend another live stream. I can't just go to another event. I need things in my world and in my life to change. Well, I want you to meet Sarah, and we're going to call her Sarah because I'm going to protect her confidentiality. She wrote into our office, and I'm going to name her Sarah, even though that's not a real name, okay? But the scenario is real. So let me just see if you can identify in any way with Sarah. So Sarah wrote into our office and said, hey, Allison, during your online training, I realized, oh my God, I'm leaving a minimum of $76,000 on the table. I can't even count the revenue from products that I haven't sold. Plus, I realize I don't have a plan for selling a major project in the market that I know will rock the world and will make a big difference. So Sarah writes into our office. I wrote back and got on the phone with her and actually said, let's talk this through, even though I had never met her before. I'd never talked to her before, but I felt like, let me just really see if that's what you're leaving on the table or if there's more that you could be leaving there. So we actually did the math for Sarah during that conversation. $76,000 was Sarah's number of what she said she was leaving on the table. Through that conversation, I estimate that she had another $25,000 per quarter for her product that she hadn't sold. Remember the number that she said, I can't even begin to calculate it? I calculated it. Then she had a big idea. Remember that? And when I looked at the big idea, I said, at minimum, I believe that you can license this out for about $125,000 annually for the big idea that you hadn't positioned yet. That's what I shared with Sarah. Now, we did a potential loss of revenue review with Sarah, and this is what it looked like. 76,000 was her number. 100,000 was the number that we positioned with the 25,000 quarter over quarter in product that she hadn't even sold. And then 125,000 in licensing that I could see just being on the phone. Are you guys following the numbers? All right, so let's pull out the calculator. 76,000, and then 100,000, and then 125,000, which is 225,000, puts us at 301,000 in potential loss of revenue. Now, that's a big number. Is that a big number to you? I mean, what would you do with $301,000? Well, let's take a look. What could we have done with $301,000? Well, if we wanted to buy Cadillac Escalades, we could have bought 4. If we wanted to buy designer Christian Louboutin shoes, then we could have bought 232 pair of those shoes. If we wanted to send children to college and do something meaningful, then we could send 29 children to state colleges. If we wanted to build homes for struggling families with $301,000, we could build 2 struggling families a new starter home. So let me just back up, guys. Here's a potential loss of revenue that she saw of $76,000 just by attending one of these webinars. And so for those of you that are on, I want you to get why you need to be here, why you can't afford to not give this entire next hour into your business. Because if you're like Sarah, you may go, oh my God, I think I see $25,000, $35,000, $50,000, $100,000. But I guarantee you, if I got on the phone with you, I would find more. Look what Sarah could do with the money. Look what's available to her. But then we took it deeper. Look at this. We took it deeper. According to feedamerica.org, $1 equals 10 meals for people facing hunger. If she would have only made half of this potential revenue and donated 10% of it, then that means she could have fed 301,000 hungry people in the United States alone. But because Sarah wasn't being the spokesperson for her brand, she was missing out on the possibility of her $301,000 annual increase. That's a big deal. So when we talk about bossing up and being the spokesperson of your brand, how much is not being the spokesperson of your brand really costing you? And the bigger question is, How much is you not being the spokesperson of your brand to develop the wealth of your business and your bank account costing our world? I mean, look at how many people she could have fed with just a tithe. Look at how many homes she could have built, how many children she could have sent to college. See, if you think you don't matter or your money doesn't matter to the global expansion of our world, you are wrong. Looking at the numbers, do you still feel that your mission, your cause, your purpose in life can wait? I mean, can you really just read another book or watch another YouTube video and hope that you eventually get there? Or is it time for you to really do something? I want you to post in the chat right now, it's my time. Like, you got to be really serious about being ready to boss the hell up, guys. So let's talk about what that looks like. Let's first define what it means for you to boss up, because this is just a play on spelling boss, right? B-O-S-S, but it's boss, like boom, B-A-W-S-E. To boss up is to step up to the plate of success and play full out, leaving behind social inhibitions and excuses. It's to say yes to winning your way on your terms and by your definition of success. Now, let's define being the spokesperson for your brand, because you may go, all right, I get what it means to be a boss. What does it really mean for me to be the spokesperson? Well, here it is. To be the spokesperson for your brand is to be the voice behind the brand that represents the product or service that your solution brings to market. You are the voice that clarifies the urgency, the value, the necessity of what you offer. The number one role of the brand spokesperson is to make sure that the prospect is able to clearly say, hell yeah, I'll have what you're selling. Now, for those of you that are feverishly writing, let me tell you, we're not going to slow down. So what I'm going to do is actually give you access to these notes and these slides so that you can have them when I'm done facilitating. Does that work for you? All right, so you can take a breath and you can go, oh, thank God. You know, you don't have to feverishly write as much. But we do what are called money mover sprints. And in money mover sprints, that's where I'm taking you through the curriculum and we're going pretty rock star fast. So if you think we've been going fast so far, buckle your seatbelt, baby, because we're about to really launch. So here's what's real. If you're mother dear on the left, you're on a scooter in success, I just want you guys to know I'm shifting you and the trajectory of your future over to the right, because I want you to be a moonwalker. I want you to be a person that is able to create extraordinary success unapologetically and to go and travel to places where you never could have imagined you could realistically go. So let's jump into sprint number one. Number one, if you're going to be a boss in your business and you're going to be the spokesperson for your success, you got to inspire the client to enroll versus selling. So let me tell you very cleanly what that means. When you are enrolling, you're inviting the person into a possibility that they didn't know existed until you showed up. So in order for you to be a strong spokesperson, you've got to become a master at enrollment. So for some of you that go, I feel icky when I sell. Well, number one, you got to get over that. How do you get over that? You've got to become a stronger enroller, because the more you enroll, the more it becomes elective for the client and less frustrating for you. So you don't get overwhelmed like I got to push somebody into a sell. You're clear that you're inviting them into a sell. All right, sprint number two. Why your breakthrough as the number one spokesperson of your business matters. Well, let me show you some numbers, because I'm a chick that loves math. I love the numbers all day, all night, 24/7. So when I talk about the need to be enrolling, let me give you some value behind it. So here's my 100K sales formula, all right, which is why being enrolling really adds value, and why sprint number 2, the breakthrough as the number 1 spokesperson of your business, really matters, because your numbers can look like this. Now, listen to me, guys. There are some of you that are on and you've been trying to break the 6-figure mark of success for yourself. I'm not coaching you right now to create a 6-figure business. What I'm coaching you to is an awareness that you can have a 6-figure revenue line that can fund other areas of your business. And here is one formula of enrollment and selling that can get you there quicker, sooner, and faster. Here we go. Block number 1. You can speak virtually on a platform as a featured expert and spokesperson for your brand. All right. You can sell something that has a $1,000 price tag to it. You may go, well, what is that, Allison? Listen, I host a 3-day event annually every single year. In that 3-day event, we walk you through the creation, the development, the awareness, the identification of what that $1,000 win could be. So remember, today, I can't give you everything, but I'm going to give you the aha. And then I'm going to invite you into actually attending that 3-day with me so that you can come into my space and move from behind your computer and stop trying to do business from convenience and get into conviction and commitment, which may require that you jump on a plane. It may require that you sleep with a stranger. No, I'm not asking you to have sex with someone random. I'm saying you may roommate or buddy up with someone just so you can spend 72 hours immersed in success for your business, but we're not there yet. All right, so a virtual speaking platform, $1,000, okay? You do 2 cycles of positioning that virtually through live streaming, webinar, telesummit, teleseminar, anything like that. You enroll 15 people and you do it twice, that's $30,000. My suggestion would be that you do one in 30 days, you do the next one in the next 30 days. So you make $30,000 in 60 days. Now, when was the last time you made 30 grand in 60 days? All right. You know, just have that awareness right now. Block number 2, of those 30 people that you sell your $1,000 solution to, you host a live event. And in that live event, you do an upsell for $10,000. Now, some of you are going, oh my God, what am I selling for $10,000? Again, I'm going to share that with you on how that could be possible. But guys, you've got to lose your inhibition with making money relatively quickly. You've got to lose your inhibition with being an expert, and you've got to step up to the plate. If you teach people on government contracts, if you teach people on health, fitness, awareness, there are so many different things that you could do, from a retreat to a live training to a 3-day intensive that could be of a $10,000 value that can help people change their ultimate reality because you showed up. If you get 6 people to say yes to that $10,000 product and solution, just 6, that's 60 grand. Now you're at $90,000. Now, you have people, oh, my dog says, I am telling you guys the truth. Thank you, King. Can I get one more amen? One more? Good, there we go. So now remember, you've got 30 people that said yes to your entry-level 1,000, 6 people that say yes to your 10,000 in this scenario, right? But then look at this. If 6 people say yes to the upsell, then you still got 24 people that are available to say yes to a way of recurring work with you. And that low-level sell could be at $99 per month. If 10 out of those 24 people say yes, that's $1,188 per person times 10 over the course of the year is $11,880. So now this is your $100,000 sales formula. This is why being the spokesperson of your brand adds value, because you get to accelerate how revenue is created for you. So let's look at sprint number 3. What is the holy grail of all spokespeople? Now, remember I said, I'm not on a scooter, guys. I'm taking you to the moon. So if you're going, ha, 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 Allison, 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 slow down. Why? You've been going at your own rate of speed long enough. You got onto a broadcast hosted by Allison Bird, the Profit Accelerator, not the Profit Slow Down, not the Profit Scooter Lady, but Allison Bird, the Profit Accelerator. My responsibility is to show you how you can boss up and step up without inhibitions or fear or excuses. Step to the plate as the #1 spokesperson of your brand. Create a powerful sense of urgency. And when you do that, you now get to step into the holy grail of all spokespeople, which is to show people, here's the problem that you have. Here is why it's not working for you. And here's how I solve it. So you run a pest control business. What's the problem? Problem is you got rodents in your home. Why are you agitated? Because you're afraid to go to sleep. Maybe bed bugs are coming, or maybe fleas got on your dog, or whatever that looks like. And so you agitate it by giving them clarity that this doesn't work for you. This is the holy grail of the spokesperson. If you stand up at any networking event, if you stand up at any speaking engagement, if you shape your keynote and all you say is, the #1 problem that I solve is this, and then you agitate it by saying, this is how you know that problem is real for you. And then you say, oh guys, and this is how I solve it. That's what gets people running to the back of the room. Remember that sales and conversion is a language of clarity. And so the more clear you are as the spokesperson of your brand, the more people can build their know, like, and trust factor with you and can elevate and deepen their sense of wanting to work with you, and then powerfully choose and say yes. Are you guys getting it? If you get it, post in the thread right now, I get it, I get it, I get it, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. But here's what happens, and here's where you get stuck, sprint #4. Where you get stuck is in 4 areas. Area #1, your UVP. Area #2, your USP. Area #3, your UEP, and area #4, your UPP. So what are those things? Write this down. UVP is your unique value proposition. All right. USP is your unique selling proposition or position. You could just say position. So your unique value position. So what value do you bring? So as a result of working with me, the value that I bring is what? Fill in the blank. Your unique selling position. Listen, this is how you do your USP. The reason that you want to work with me, or the reason that clients have bought from me in the past, is because they had this problem and this is how I solved it, and now I can do it for you. That's your USP. Clients had this problem, previous clients had this problem, I solved it by doing this, and guess what? I can do it for you. That's your USP. Your UEP is your unique enrolling position. So this is where you say, clients enroll with me because, and you may say, well, that sounds like the way I sell, that sounds like the UVP, that sounds like all of that. Remember, sales is the language of clarity. It's about giving that clarity over and over and over again. Repetition is the mother and father of all learning. The more you say it, the more you peel back that layer, or peel back what I call the onion of clarity, then you sting the client's eyes with the precision of, I am the one that you must work with unapologetically. And then UPP, your unique pricing position. So this is where you say, here's why my price is what it is. And you're able to do a comparison. You could work with other leaders that may charge you less or may charge you more, but my position on pricing is this, because this is the result, reward, and return that you get in working with me. You get it? If you can identify your UVP, your place of value, your USP, your selling position, your UEP, your enrolling position, and your UPP, your pricing position, you will no longer be stuck in how you set yourself up as a spokesperson that leads people to conversion in working with you. Sprint number 5, are you enrolling or are you salesy? Some of you are having an issue because the minute you try to start talking about conversion, you start sounding like the sleazy car salesperson. And it's all you've heard, it's all you've known, and you're hyper resistant to it. So instead of learning a new process, what you've done instead is you've opted out of selling and you've lowered your conversion technique. And so then you don't have the sales, you don't have the numbers, you don't have the cash flow, and your business goes into cash slow, which is going to quickly lead you to what? Bankruptcy and frustration. Well, we both know that doesn't work. So let's talk about what you can do that can help you have clarity. To know if you're an enrolling speaker, here are the 10 things you want to ask yourself. Here's why you want to ask a question versus me handing you a solution. Powerful people ask powerful questions because our questions steer our focus. What we focus on is what we give and what we bring life to. You got it? So ask yourself, am I unique when I speak? Is my backstory exciting? Are my intentions clear? Is my language inspiring? Do I take time to connect with the audience? Am I afraid to get in their face and stir them up? Do I have a stand for them? Let me give you an example. I got in your face right when I opened this training. I said, look, you're brave, you're extraordinary. And if you don't know that about yourself, I'm going to call it up in you. Did you see that? I'm not afraid to stir you up. I'm not afraid to have a stand for you. And I'm also not afraid to say, if you cannot find your alignment with me, or if you cannot find your agreement with me, then find your alignment. And if you can't find your alignment, then I may not be the right voice. And I know that out of 7 billion people in our world, I'm really okay that a few of you drop off because I'm not the right fit. That's okay. That's not a rejection of me. That's just a reflection of what is needed for you in order for you to find your way of winning. And I may not be the facilitator. You get it? Some of you are taking the reflection as rejection. And you need to unlearn that. All right, next one. Do you enroll the audience in their problem or their possible breakdown? Like, do you really get them to see it? Are you giving too many points? Are you experienced in what you're sharing, or are you trying to share something that you think is trendy or smart? Do you tell a powerful story, and how have you learned how to master that? Those are questions you've got to ask yourself in order to boss up and be a strong spokesperson for your brand. Sprint number 6, what I call snap, crackle, pop. Ready? What's your snap? What's your crackle? What's your pop? Very simple. You've got to always do this mix, speaking as the spokesperson of your brand. Entertainment, education, and engagement. Entertainment, education, and engagement. So you got to always find a way to entertain. You may say, well, I don't feel like I'm entertaining. Well, you better figure that out. Tell a joke, write a script, do whatever you got to do to bring your measure of entertainment to the presentation. Education, always give facts, statistics, and data. Remember, 70% of any audience, they're interested in hearing backstory, and they're also interested in hearing statistics and real data that backs up what you're saying. Even if what you're talking about is why scented candles change the atmosphere in your home. It can be something very simple, but people still want to know that statistically 8 out of 12 people, XX, YY, ZZ. You get it, right? And then engagement. Always asking for engagement. If you're virtual, ask people to post, ask people to write in the comment or the chat thread. If you're live, ask people by show of hands how many of you can relate. Do different things that move the audience and move the room and keep them tapped in to their understanding. Remember this and write this down. Are you ready? People will never argue with their data, but they'll argue with yours. So the more that you can create engagement that helps them reveal their data, their belief system around things, then the more they'll be engaged to actually cross the finish line with you. Let me give you an example of a couple of clients that I've worked with that have learned how to boss up and be the strong spokesperson in their brand. So this is Amy Walker. And when I started our program and working with Amy Walker and her team, we started with a target price point of a $25,000 mastermind. All right. The buy now strategy was $18,500. Her target sale was 20 people. Her must sell was 15 people enrolling. And the selling timeline was in 45 days. We wanted our high level at 20 folks, our must at 15. Result number one, $370,000 if we got all 20. Result number two, $277,500 if we got 15. All right, so do the math so that you can see it. $277,500 divided by 18.5, which is the buy now strategy, was 15 people enrolling. Now, for those of you that go, wow, that seems really big. Well, I want you to think about this. Amy is a high-level consultant. And so as a high-level consultant, charging someone $18,500 is the price of a car for some people, but it's an investment of a lifetime for others. So enrolling people in 15 days into that, or I'm sorry, in 45 days is really realistic. When was the last time in 45 days you did $250,000? When I tell you why being the spokesperson of your brand is valuable, this is where you look at a formula of money made simple. Let's look at another client that I've had the joy and privilege of working with, Nicole Roberts-Jones. Her target price point, number one, was $25,000. Her target to sell was different than Amy Walker's. It was 2. Her second target price point was $3,497. Her target sale was 8. The selling timeline was 1 day because she was going to have a 1-day event. Being the spokesperson of her brand, hitting those targets, 2 people enrolling in her $25,000 program, 8 people enrolling in her $3,497 program gives a result of $77,976. Now think about this, guys. When was the last time you had a 1 day where $77,976 was your reality? If you divide that over an occupational thinker's 8-hour workday, that's almost $10,000 per hour. You still think you don't need to be the successful spokesperson of your brand? Every bossed up spokesperson is a masterful enroller. The only way that you can make numbers like that happen is if you actually give yourself the opportunity to step up as the masterful enroller. And here are the enrolling insights that you need in order to make that happen. First, you've got to become masterful at connection. Build rapport and credibility by demonstrating keen insight into their world, by saying simple statements like, I understand where you are, or let me give you an example and show you how I've been where you are, or maybe even giving an example like I just did of an Amy Walker or Nicole Roberts-Jones that showcase I have worked with people that are in the same pain points or in the same stress factor that you're in today. Another enrolling insight, reveal the problem. Demonstrate how their current state is overwhelming with undesirable, limiting, and difficult situations. So you got to take the time to show them the way that it's going right now, it's not working for you. You're not living the reality that you desire. And guess what? I have a solution to be able to show it. But before I showcase it, let's talk about how frustrating this is. Don't be afraid to walk people through the shadow of darkness, because guess what? They're living there anyway. So unpacking that and giving them that clarity only gives them the desire to greater change that and to change it with you. Next, imagination. Drive to a desire of what could be, if only possible. Paint the picture of a new reality, okay? Paint the picture of what could it look like if something new happened for you. The way that you can do that is through what we call a breakdown stack. That's where you take the prospective client on an emotional journey, shifting back and forth between affliction and aspiration. Affliction is what's not working and what's uncomfortable. Aspiration is, but don't you really desire it to be like this? Remember that it's key to demonstrate why old thinking has failed and why it will fail again. All right. Enrolling insight. Okay, let's see. Oh, I double clicked. Okay. So enrolling insight breakthrough. Change the game with a new thinking. You know, change the game by inspiring hope and setting the expectation and the necessity that change must occur. Write this down. When you speak and you're enrolling, you've got to be in the 80-20 rule. 80% possibility and breakthrough, 20% breakdown and breakout. So don't be so much in the belly of their breakdown that they can't see their breakthrough. That won't work. Here's a big reminder. Share your solution with patience and showcase it with accuracy, and include pitfalls that they can avoid, that can say, oh, make sure that this doesn't happen for you. So if I were enrolling people and saying, hey, do you want to do a one-day event like Nicole Roberts-Jones did? I would say, here's what it looks like. I would patiently walk through our event planning system. And then I would say, you want to avoid not having enough time to market your event. You want to avoid filling your event with any and everybody, because if you don't have the right butts and seats, it can deeply impact your conversion, and it can tell you you're a bad enroller when the reality is you actually didn't have the right people listening with the right pain points, so your solution wasn't in alignment with what they could say yes to. Do you guys get that? So I would share that patiently, and I would showcase it so that people could go, oh, I get it, and we could build that sense of desire. Move to results. When you want to be the spokesperson of your brand, tie to emotional and literal rewards. Demonstrate how those who shift and create change experience two things: an ROI, a return on their investment of their time, energy, and resource with you, and ROF, a return on finish. When we finish the work that we do together, this is the result, the reward, and the return that you are guaranteed to have. Inspire action. Invite collaboration to explore the further possibilities of what it looks like when they transition in their conversation of advocacy and inquiry, meaning I'm your advocate. And when we play curious on what's available, we can find bigger possibilities together, and you can inspire them to take that action with you so that they go, oh, that's what I want. You're a chiropractor and you're saying you've been in pain, but I want you to imagine that after 6 weeks of working together, the 5 years of pain that you've been in will have reduced by 20, 30, 40%. How many of you would love to wake up pain-free? How many of you would love to sleep through an entire night without your back hurting or being irritating, or even having to wake up and take another drug just to make it through one night of sleep? Like, become their advocate and inquire for how change can happen for them. Remember, enrolling stories incite likability, attention, curiosity, desire, and always build on the emotional journey. You've got to create your story anchors. You've got to ensure that they get it. Ensure they believe it's possible and trust it will work. You've got to inspire them to believe if we work together, it will happen for you and they can do it. Remember, they've got two big fears. Am I going to get a return on my investment? And am I going to actually cross the finish line? Because they've had their own failures, their own stopping points. All of those things are happening in their head, and you've got to reduce and mitigate that risk and that internal negative dialogue by inspiring them to believe. You haven't had me before. You haven't had my product before. You haven't had my solution before. And guess what? If you do, together we can make it happen. All right, so here's the fact. As a speaker, you can create $1,500 to $30,000 per speech, and we've heard even bigger fees than that, right? All right, well, here's another fact. When a speaker sells books and CDs with their speeches, they can generate roughly what? $177,000 per year. Not a bad year, right? Well, what if there was a reinvention that was possible? See, I'm not talking to you about being a speaker. I'm actually talking to you about reinventing as the spokesperson of your brand. So I want you to type in the chat right now, Allison, I'm ready to reinvent. Let's just take a look at that. What if speaking were now the loss leader, meaning it was the thing that gave you the opportunity to get in front of audiences, to position your product, your program, your solution, but it wasn't the thing you were actually looking to get paid for. See, look at this. If you want to do some math, if you speak for fee, $3,500 speaking fee, you speak 4 times a month, that's a $14,000 gross. That's not bad, right? Okay. Well, one letter can change your entire financial reality. So let's take a look at that. Let's do some more math. Let's add one letter, and that letter is R. So instead of speaking for fee, you speak for free, AKA be the spokesperson of your brand. The average audience size that you speak to is 50 people. You speak 10 times per month. You convert 25% of the audience per talk, which gives you about 13 people enrolling with you. Your average price is $1,000, right? $13,000 per talk versus per month. Take a look at this, guys. As the spokesperson of your brand, this could give you $130,000 in 1 month. Now, some of you are already having some resistance and going, whoa, that just doesn't seem real. Well, you got to let some stuff go. And here's what you got to let go of. Self-limiting thoughts and personal fears that say that couldn't be real. I mean, look at the math. It's real. Speak to an average audience of 50 people, have a price point that's $1,000. And you may go, well, I don't know how to speak in front of people. I don't know how to, build a solution that's $1,000. I've never converted from the front of the room. What do I do with those 13 folks? Like, you're asking yourself all those questions. And remember, I said I've got a 3-day intensive that you can come into San Antonio, Texas, where I live, home of the Spurs. Go Spurs, go, go Spurs, go. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Okay, sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. We love our Spurs. Woo! Okay, so anyway, home of the Spurs in the San Antonio Riverwalk, next door to Austin, where Austin, what do? We keep Austin weird. It is the capital of Texas. It's epic and amazing. So next door to Austin, but you come in, these are the things that we teach you guys. Because I want you to just pull out a calculator on your phone, or maybe you've got a calculator there. Even if you failed, have you failed to the tune of $65,000 a month yet for your revenue line for your business? Notice that I keep saying revenue line versus business, because some of you are trying to build some empire with a major infrastructure, and all you need is a producing revenue line that gives you the opportunity to actually achieve something successful in the world. But you're stuck in some of these areas. Look at this. You have private doubts. Will I really do it? You got the wrong community that either doesn't understand, doesn't know, or really pulls you away from being inspired that you can make it happen. Maybe you've got no community and you are an inspiration of one. Maybe your personal circumstances right now are already saying to you, yeah, but it takes money to make money and I ain't got no money. Well, listen, Mr. I ain't got no money and Mrs. I ain't got no money. When I started my business, I started on two things, ambition and air. And it's not a lot to hold you, but it's enough to fuel you for a season. If you're waiting on God, or you think that there's more time, or you're questioning your ability, or you're spending time in cynicism or jealousy or anger at the success of other people, or you're reminded of past failures, you are spending dollar time on penny thoughts, and you don't have that. And it's time to let that go. Here's my point. YCDBSOYA. YCDBSOYA. You can't do business sitting on your ass. You've got to get up and get yourself immersed in entrepreneurial education that gets you out of the $5 gas tank of ambition and air and gets you onto a full tank of strategy, development, implementation, and execution, because ideation can only take you so far, but execution is worshiped when creating success in business. So if you're asking yourself, well, what is my next step? And Allison, how can you help me? Well, let me show you. I've got over 95 hours of training that I could just keep drilling in and going right now that could bring you the miracle of clarity for the next development of your success. But we don't have that time, do we? But if you go, Allison, that's me. That's what I need. I need that. Help me. I want you to post in the thread right now in the chat, Allison, that's me. That's what I need. Then I want you to post, Allison, save me from myself. Some of you just simply need to be saved from yourself. Yourself keeps you rooted in stinking thinking, and you need to get out in order to break free. So today has been one rung on the ladder of success. One rung of clarity. You know, and you may have had a bunch of ahas like, oh my God, I didn't know about the difference between enrollment and selling. I didn't understand what it looked like to be able to be the spokesperson of my brand. I'd never done the math and evaluated how much contribution I wasn't able to be because I'm not making the money that I say I really desire and deserve. So here's my idea. Here's my idea. My idea is that we spend 4 days together, you, me, and your potential. And we go from potential to actually designing and creating new realities. So look at these conference speakers: Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Mel Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Eric Thomas, Richard Branson. Great lineup of speakers, right? Well, none of those are going to be at my live 3-day intensive. Because here's the question. Do you need brand names or do you need direction? Do I need to razzle and dazzle you with the who, what, when, where, why? Or do I need to razzle dazzle you with the simple question of what do you need next for your extraordinary success? If you have not made $10,000 month over month over month in a successful revenue line, you need to be clear, you need direction. If you haven't mastered what it's like to be the spokesperson of your brand, and you have not gotten yourself to the point where you can stand in front of a networking group, you can go to a meetup group, you can get yourself booked off of meetup.com, you can put your flyer up on LinkedIn, you can write a blog, you can do a vlog, you can do a video, you can do an infographic on Pinterest. You can link that through SEO optimization and through Google AdWords and Facebook ad strategy. You can drive traffic so that you can get yourself booked. If you're still in the old school of, well, eventually I'll be seen, eventually I'll get heard, and eventually I'll get paid, you are going to rot and your business is going to close. I say that not to inspire fear. I say that to inspire clarity, that you've got to get yourself out of a hustle and grind and step into a flow. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to my website, www.summerofyes.live, www.summerofyes.live. I've heard it for years that summer is the slowdown period. I've heard it for years that that's the time where, oh, I don't make as much money. Oh, this doesn't happen. And there are so many excuses that surround success not being available, whether you're in a consultancy or whether you're a ministry leader. Oh, our members start leaving, or this starts happening. People go on vacation. Listen, when you set yourself up to win, when you set yourself up with a system, a strategy, a formula, a process, you win in all seasons. Not only that, if this is a season where your traffic is more slow, this is a great time for you to invest in your entrepreneurial education so you can unlearn your occupational thinking that keeps you stuck in smallness, sameness, and simplicity of success. See, you don't want to be in just the, and when I say simplicity, I don't mean avoid the simple math and the simple excitement. And I mean, get out of the simplicity of, I'm just going to do what I can do and make what I can make, and step into, I am the solution that I've been looking for. I am the answer for the rise of my business. So listen, when you go to summerofyes.live, www.summerofyes.live, you can either click the button and you see that here in the presentation, or you can type that on your phone or on your tablet while you're still in the presentation with me. You're going to see two options. The first option is to come and be with me for super VIP. And that's where you're with me for 4 total days. So unconference is 3 days, but there's a bonus day 0. And bonus day 0 is for the leader that says, I've got to spend an entire day where I'm with 35 other leaders in an intimate setting. I am fully inside of every aspect of success for myself. I have been clanking my cup and I'm running on E. So I want you to be honest with yourself, because only you can answer this. Be honest with yourself. Is it time for you to get your cup filled? Is it time for you to come and spend time learning about your visibility, learning about your influence, learning about your impact, because those are the preludes to profit. It's a pretty big deal, guys. So you get a chance to have a special offer just for me, okay? A special offer just for me so that you can attend this additional day. There are only 35 seats, all right? So let me just go over the day. In the morning, I open with a keynote, and we spend time looking at what is the emotional equilibrium that I need to lead a 6- and 7-figure revenue line for my business. Next, I have my featured virtual keynotes where we are simulcasting in some of the best and most extraordinary leaders who are talking to you about their success and about how you can duplicate what they've done. One of my favorites, we don't have time for me to highlight everyone, but one of my favorites is Mike Michalowicz, who is the author of the book Profit First. And he is one of my favorites because that's what I read to help me unlearn and unpack my conversation around profit and really get myself clear that I needed to set my business up to bring in profit and then absolve and resolve the debt after the business was successfully funded. Then the end of day 0 is a field trip. Now, some of you don't experience enough fun. So I call this unconference because guess what? It's not like a normal conference. So the end of that day is a field trip where you get to go with my team to a vodka distillery to meet the owner of the distillery, who has become the master of his one revenue line of vodka. And through that revenue line, been able to create a multi-7-figure successful distillery that is now in the market doing amazing things. See, if you're leading your business from your MacBook, from your Dell computer, from Instagram, from Facebook, from, your social platform, maybe you need to see what it looks like to expand beyond that, because maybe that gives you the opportunity to see not necessarily what you're going to graduate to, because you may not want your empire to build that way, but it will give you the opportunity to simply get in the space of a broader spectrum of success. In addition to that, every day when you are super VIP, we provide your breakfast, your lunch, your private snack bar, and you have all event access to everything that we're doing while you're on the campus for the additional 3 days after your bonus day 0. So note, if you say, Allison, I've got to master $10,000 plus inside of my business month over month over month, at minimum, that's what I've got to do for this revenue line, then I would say run, don't walk, grab one of those 35 super VIP seats. Because the grace and ease of walking downstairs from the hotel room, breakfast is there, you're done. Lunch is there, you're done. You're back in session, you need snack, you need a break, everything is there. All event access. Like, think about it. The last time you spent 4 days being immersed in entrepreneurial training, you should be doing this, by my opinion, every 90 days at minimum. So the details of how you enroll for Super VIP are at summerofyes.live, www.summerofyes.live. Then let me take it even further for you. For some of you that are listening and you say, well, I see that there's a general admission opportunity. Well, guess what? You can enroll in general admission and it's $149 down, and then you do $149 14 days from now. So that gives you 3 days. Okay, so I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it very boldly. Choose one. I'm just going to say it boldly, that if you're on and you have not mastered being the spokesperson of your brand, why would you not choose one? Like, I'm not saying that to make you scared. I can't inspire fear in you guys, right? I'm saying it with love and respect, leader to leader. Look at the numbers, look at the math, look at the examples. But let me just put some icing on the cake for you. For the first 10 who register, I will make the second payment for you. Because here's what I get. Sometimes we got to have someone match our faith. You know, when you sign up for a 401k working for a job and they say, we'll match you dollar for dollar. Like, sometimes we need that in order to go, oh, okay, I'll do that, Listen, I want you having the power and the excitement and the thrill to choose. I mean, this is going to be one of the most revolutionary unconferences ever. I mean, I want you guys to get so excited to think about, what does it look like for me to be around a tribe of super entrepreneurs? I want you to go to summerofyes.live and choose one, either super VIP or general admin, but I want you in the building and I want you there. Let's talk about day one. All right, let's talk about day one. So day one is all about how you can have radical visibility. So this is about how many people are seeing you. How much are you getting out there? Are you doing it on live stream? Are you maximizing Instagram live stream, Facebook live stream? Are you maximizing getting out there for networking events? Are you waiting on business to come to you when you are the one that can actually go after your business? So we are spending day one in the mind shifting for you to be able to step into the expansion of your success. My great friend David Bayer is flying in so he can teach us on mind shifting. And then I'm spending the day talking to you about what? Where is your visibility to be seen and to amplify the sound of your voice? Do you guys remember Sarah? We talked about Sarah earlier, right? So this was Sarah's potential loss of revenue. 76,000 she identified, 100,000 that I identified through loss of product sales, and then 125,000 in licensing that I felt like she could do if she actually set herself up to license a solution that she had. 301,000 in potential loss of revenue. Don't be Sarah. Don't be Sarah looking and going, oh my God, you know, it's $795 for super VIP. Then I got the hotel room. Then I got this. Like, you're stepping over dollars to pay attention to pennies. Really? Let's take a look at it. If you go to summerofyes.live and you register, here are the details I want to share with you. 5-star hotel, the standard rate for the hotel where we're having the event, excuse me, is $220 to $389 a night. But the exclusive unconference rate is only $159. All right. So now the average flight cost is what? $400. Okay. I'm doing the math for you. I told you guys I'm a woman of my numbers. So here are the 5 steps to your summer breakthrough. Get your Unconference 2017 ticket. Get your ticket. Are you coming super VIP and being one of the exclusive 35? Or are you coming general admin? Next, invite a friend to come with you and invite a serious business leader. Please don't invite your sister-in-law, you know, your cousin, your brother, who's going to come and say, hey, let's go to the mall and let's shop. Because you need to spend these 72 hours to 4 days immersed in success for your business. But guess what? When you split the hotel room, that's less than $100 a day. Then from there, book your flight. I suggest downloading an app called Hopper, which will tell you when the cheapest flight is available. And then show up and change your life and change your business. Now, you'll see something that says, are you extra? Don't worry, so am I. Do you want your enrollment concierge? Like, do you say, well, I want to walk through it. I need to talk to somebody. Don't worry. Just email success@AllisonBird.com for a private appointment, and we'll take care of you. Now, does that mean you may not make it as one of the 10 where I pay half of it for you? It might mean that, just so you know. But if you like to have a concierge experience, still email us success@AllisonBird.com and we'll take care of you. I want you to know that's available. So it's success@AllisonBird, ALLYSON, Bird, BYRD.com. And wait, there's more. When you enroll, you're also going to get what's called a pre-conference portal. This is where you get an opportunity to learn from some of my previous trainings that I've hosted so that you know the type of lingo that we're using. And guess what? When we're in the room, I'm going to reference it. So before you go, oh, great, I can study that through the holidays. No, baby, don't push that off. You want to start your entrepreneurial education right away. And then when the conference is over, we don't leave you behind. We're also going to do $1 million speaker web training that's valued at $495 per seat. So the portal is valued at $795. The web training is valued at $495. Let's do the math. That's bonuses of $1,290 just from you saying yes. So once you enroll, I want you to go to summerofyes.live and enroll either general admin or super VIP as part of the Elite 35. And then I want you to tag me on Facebook, on Twitter, at Allison. I'm coming. This is my hashtag Summer of Yes. And let me know that you are 1000% in. All right, let me jump back on camera for you guys. Here we go. Let's get over here. There I am. Hi. I've been talking to you all this time, right? Hey, okay, so don't you guys love my faith mug? I love that. One of my team members, Chantel, gave that to me. So she said to me, you helped me reconnect to faith in myself and for my life. And so she gave it to me. And it says, faith isn't always a leap. Sometimes, see the faith right there, but then there's like a message on the other side. Sometimes it's just one little step after another with lots of falling down and getting back up in between. How great is that? Listen, I want to say to you guys, with all love, honor, and respect, you know, I give this work some of the best years of my life. And, you know, I'm only 40 years old. And I spend a lot of my time talking to you, teaching you, training you, coaching you, consulting with you, and then hosting this event because I know what changed for me. One day, I walked into a 3-day event. The ticket cost me $500. I drove from Texas to California. My then fiance, he was actually my boyfriend, became my fiance a couple of years later, went with me. And sitting there, it was one exercise. I was there all day, every day. We went to dinner together, everybody, the whole group. But it was one exercise. In that one exercise, it almost makes me cry because I think about it. In that one exercise, they drew this wheel, and I teach it today now because I learned it that day and it changed my life. And I teach this at Unconference, actually. They drew this wheel. And she said, if you could talk about one thing, just one thing, how many ways could you productize that one thing? Now, the reason it makes me emotional is because I didn't think I was smart enough to be an entrepreneur. And I went to that training saying to myself, if I don't get it here, I'll never get it. And so that was a do or die moment. Can you guys relate to that, where you're in that do or die, like if it doesn't happen here, then I'm just clear that I'm not failing, but I just need to try something else. And so she drew this wheel and she said, if you could talk about one thing and you could productize it 8 different ways, how many different ways could you productize that one thing that you know? And it helped me perceive that I didn't have to know a bunch of different things. But what I knew really well was how to show people how they could step into their power and their purpose at that time. That was my teaching. My company was called The Purpose Within. And when we drew those 8 different ways, what was so cool about it was I went, oh shit, I can do this. And then she said, now take one way. So she said, do the 8 ways you could productize it. And then after that, she said, put the product price points. And then she said, what's the highest one? That's the one to focus on. And I went, oh my God. So my product that I focused on was a lunch and learn for $7,500. And I realized if we sold 10 a month, we would make $75,000 a month. I sat there and had a fucking meltdown. I bawled my eyes out. Oh my God. Because here's what I got. Here's what I got. I'd been struggling because I'd been trying to do too many things. And if I just did one thing, the highest revenue producing activity for myself, if I did one, I could do it. I left there. I called a girlfriend of mine who had a sales team. I said, do you have some of your sales team that isn't as successful as they can be? Can I trade you? I'll train your sales team because I was really good at sales. I'll train your sales team. I need to use some of your sales team. Oh, by the way, I'll pay you 18% of it, and then you can pay your salesperson 2%, 3%, 5%, whatever that number is. And our goal is $75,000 a month. I'll pay you 18%, so I'll pay you $13,500 a month. And if we do this for 6 months and we win, you'll make $81,000. And she said yes. And I changed the trajectory of my life. I've never looked back since. So with all love and respect, my invitation to you and why I know events matter is because out of all the exercises that we did, I was opened up on day 2. And day 1, I sat there learning, notes. And day 2, I freaking got it. Day 3, I danced my way into getting my certificate. Day 4, I got on a plane. The next week, I was meeting with her. I went through the details. And in less than 6 months, we had completely changed our success. And when you hear me talk about 810% growth in my business, that's what it was. That was it. It was one thing. It was one thing I learned in a 72-hour immersion. It was one thing that I learned to implement. And it was one thing that shifted the trajectory. And I lead my business like that today. We don't still offer that product or that solution, but that's how we build our revenue lines. And so it's such a joy to be able now to offer this to entrepreneurial leaders to over 27 countries that you'll get to meet and be with. So I invite you, www.summerofyes.live. I don't know what day will open up for you. It may be day 0 if you're super VIP. It may be day 1. It may be day 3. But it's going to be one of those days. And when it opens up and you get it, you're going to be doing like me. You're going to be twerking. You're going to be jamming. But bigger than anything, within 6 months, you're going to be sending me a testimonial of how your life has transpired. See, you're a real entrepreneur. You have real bills. You have real vision. You're not just a dreamer. You got people that need you. You got college tuition to pay. You got a mortgage to cover. You got a nonprofit to build. You got a book to write. You got kids to fund their own dreams. You've got an example to be. You've got a legacy to create. I don't understand you. I overstand you. You're a man of purpose and you're a woman of power. And you're so necessary to our world. And so, because of that necessity, I stand for you. And I invite you to say yes and to be with me at Unconference 2017 by going to www.summerofyes.live. And let's be at Unconference 2018 and have you on the stage with your testimonial, with your story. I want you being the Amy Walker, being the Nicole Roberts-Jones that you saw earlier in the presentation, where you had a one day that was almost $80,000, or 45 days that was over $250,000. It's not a dream. It's a reality in the making. Yes, yes, or yes. If you had one word to describe your experience of today's training, please post that in the chat thread. And then finally, make sure you tag me on Twitter, on Facebook, and you say, Allison, I'm in, I'm coming, and let me know that I get to meet you at Summer of Yes Unconference 2017. All right, guys, it's Allison Bird, your Profit Accelerator, signing off. Let's be amazing together. I believe it's the best, most viable solution for how we can touch, move, and inspire the world that is over ready for us.